So, you're thinking about building a custom home in Toronto. I mean, it's the dream, right? For so many of us. But let's be real. Right next to that excitement, there's this knot in your stomach about the budget. You've got a number in your head, you've even talked to a builder. But what if that number isn't the real number? What if it's just part of the story? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the actual costs.
And yeah, that right there, that's the whole problem. We all get fixated on the big stuff. The framing, the fancy finishes, the price and the contract. But it's those invisible expenses that sneak up on you and can absolutely turn your dream project into a total financial nightmare. So that's what we're doing here today. We're going to make the invisible visible.
All right, let's really get into this, because this concept is everything. Think of your budget as a giant iceberg. That construction contract you signed, that's just the little bit you see sticking out of the water. The real danger, the stuff that can sink your entire project, is the massive unseen part lurking just below the surface. And I mean everything, from city permits all the way down to the actual dirt your house is built on.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. Don't all projects have hidden costs? And yeah, you're not wrong. They do. But Toronto is a whole different beast. It is hands down one of the most complicated and pricey cities in the entire country to build a house in. The challenges we face here are super specific, and they all feed directly into that massive hidden part of the iceberg.
So what exactly makes Toronto so special? Well, for starters, a lot of projects begin by demolishing an old house, right? That often means finding asbestos, which has to be removed safely, and bam, there's a few $1,000s you didn't see coming. Then you've got the lots themselves. They're so narrow. You can't just roll in with standard equipment. You need specialized, more expensive gear just to dig a hole. And don't even get me started on the city. The regulations are intense. You might find yourself hiring an arborist just to save a tree, or a city planner to figure out the zoning rules. None of these are small little things. They're major unexpected costs that you will almost never find in a builder's initial quote.
All right, enough with the abstract stuff. Let's talk real numbers, cold, hard cash. We are going to drag some of the biggest, scariest hidden costs out from under that waterline and right into the spotlight so you know exactly what you're dealing with.
First on the list, utilities. You'd think hooking up your hydro, gas, and water would be pretty simple, right? A couple of phone calls? Nope, not even close. You've got city fees, you've got to dig trenches across your property, you need temporary power for the build, and before you know it, you're staring at a bill for $25,000. And guess what? That is almost never in the builder's contract.
Okay, next up is a big one. This is the one that can really make a budget explode. Landscaping. It's crazy. People budget for every last doorknob inside the house, but they completely forget about the land outside the house. Just a simple driveway, a fence, a little stonework, and some grass, you are starting at around 40 grand. But if you have a bigger lot or you want some nice trees and a cool design, it's not crazy at all for that number to fly right past $100,000.
And here's one that gets absolutely everyone. The city always gets its cut. We're talking development charges, permit fees, inspections, all of it. You have to set aside an extra 5 to 10% of your total build cost just for the city. So let's put that in perspective. On a $1 million build, that's another $50,000 to $100,000 gone, just like that.
Which brings me to maybe the most important piece of advice I can give you, your contingency fund. This is your uh-oh money. It's your what-if fund. What if they start digging and find really bad soil? What if you're halfway through and decide you absolutely have to have those upgraded windows? Look, a contingency fund of 10 to 15% isn't just a nice to have. It is non-negotiable. It's the only thing that will save you when, not if, but when, surprises pop up.
So let's see how this all plays out in the actual contract, because this right here is so important. On the left, you've got what the builder's price usually covers. The skeleton of the house, the foundation, the framing, the roof. But look at the right. That's the stuff that's almost always left out. We're talking utility hookups, the driveway, all your outdoor lights, landscaping, and get this, even your kitchen appliances. You're on the hook for all of that separately.
Oh, and it doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. While your house is being built, the meter is constantly running. You're paying interest on that construction loan. You're paying for builder's risk insurance, which is mandatory. You're still paying property taxes on the land. Plus, you've got Terry and warranty fees and HST. These are what we call carrying costs, and they add up every single month.
Okay, deep breath. I know that was a lot, and you might be feeling a little overwhelmed right now. But listen, the goal here is not to scare you off your dream. It's to arm you with knowledge. So now we're going to pivot.
we're moving from the problem to the solution. Let's talk about how you can actually take control of all this and turn that anxiety into a solid, manageable plan.
Here are 5 real, practical things you can do. Number 1, plan ahead. Plan everything. Every single decision you make before construction starts saves you money. 2, stick to standard sizes for things like windows and doors. Custom sizes get expensive fast. 3, get at least 3 super detailed quotes from different builders. Don't be shy, compare them line by line. 4, keep the design simple. Complex roofs and weird angles cost a fortune in labor. And number 5, if you're demoing an old place, salvage what you can. Old bricks, hardwood floors, that stuff has character and can save you a ton.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to 2 things. Your best protection is a super clear plan and a builder who is totally transparent. You need someone who will tell you straight up from day one exactly what's in their price and what isn't. No surprises.
And really, that's what this is all about. We've basically just hauled that entire giant iceberg out of the water for you to see. And by seeing the whole picture, not just that tiny little tip, you get to trade in all that fear of the unknown for the power of knowledge. Now you can actually plan for these costs, you can budget for them, and you can walk into this project feeling genuinely confident, not anxious.
Because that's the goal, isn't it? To take on one of the biggest, most exciting projects of your life with your eyes wide open. The costs aren't hidden anymore, the risks are out in the open, the path forward is so much clearer. So the only question left is the one right there.